Hello, Tristan Turns Pages. It is me, Tristan, back for another video. Gonna kind of freeform this one, not talking about specific books this episode, but talking about reading styles my wife has requested, and several others have noticed that I tend to add quite a bit to my Goodreads and have a pretty healthy flow of books, and so answering today, questions: when do you read? How do you read? Things of that nature. Would love on this video some interaction in the comments. If I'm crazy, shut me down. If not, then let me know what you guys do to find time to read, to find time to move through books and not just stay in the same book for half the year. For me, yeah, I guess starting out, with maybe my biggest weakness has always been and continues to be audiobooks. I have just never been a big podcaster or audiobook listener. It's super hard for me to find time to do that in an age where, I don't commute a whole lot. So the car ride is minimal these days. Don't have a lot of quiet times around the house to plug in the headphones, so audiobooks just go so slowly for me. To their credit, you can listen on a faster speed, which is sometimes nice, but I will say it's very satisfying for me personally when I finish an audiobook, because once again, they just don't go by super quickly. I mean, I'm talking it could be 6+ months, easily over a year on some, that they'll just be sitting on my Goodreads as reading actively, but they are come back to every now and then. And then, the majority of my reading, I would say, is done on the Kindle. The Kindle Paperwhite especially has revolutionized the way I personally read. I should be sponsored by them, but I'm not. And yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of the Kindle's advantages are not just that you can read in any sort of lighting, anywhere, as many books as you want on the device. You can reference my previous video on Kindle Unlimited to know more of my thoughts about Kindle and the whole brand there through Amazon. But the Kindle is really nice because you can take your time on books. You can also, speed read and kind of click through and kind of grab a few paragraphs per page if that's what you're into. So definitely use that to my advantage to, buzz through parts of books that are slow, or parts of books that are repetitive, or just, click through if I'm not getting the concepts, that sort of thing. So the Kindle is super nice for that. And then in terms of paperback books, it can be challenging to find time for that. I would say that before bed is big. At one point, I had more extended time in the mornings. Lunch breaks at work are also an important asset and resource for reading, physical paper books. So I would say too, though, that the paper books tend to be a little more limited in my literary diet. There is usually some hold ups, pun intended, at the library, and so I can only get my hands on but so many at a time. And so probably, on average, might make it through like 2 to 3 paper books a week. And, obviously that depends on the length and size and things like that. So that's how I read when I read. Once again, just lean a lot on the Kindle for myself. I think it can make you a faster reader. It certainly can make you a more active reader in terms of the amount of time you're reading. But then, yeah, don't do a whole lot of audiobooks, very sparingly. And then I would say in the middle there is paper books, which come into play sort of when I have time. I would say that category ebbs and flows the most, given just, how busy I am in life and blah, blah, blah. So we'll see. I could see it picking up more as the days grow shorter. I think reading has slowed down a little bit in the summer, just out doing a lot more things. But let me know your guys' experience and any strategies you have. I hope that answers the questions my wife had on how I read and when I read. And I guess in short, certainly am not poring over every word on every page all of the time. But I think it's good to have a mix of that. Sometimes you're reading for comprehension, sometimes you're reading for pleasure, sometimes you're reading just to make it to the next book in the series. So there's quite a variety. I think a diet is a good analogy for at least how I view reading. And so curious if you guys think the same. See you later.